and good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it may be. My name is Woody Collins, and I'm with Congo Helping Hands, and we are here to talk about Congo. Talking about Congo, and the subject today is derived from someone from Congo who sent me a comment in response to my March 3rd uh, broadcast when I was talking about that the World Health Organization with the COVAX uh, consortium had delivered 1.7 million COVID vaccines to the Congo to distribute for the pandemic. And their response to that uh, broadcast was, how is it that over 6 million people have died in the Congo and without anyone coming to the aid of the Congolese? However, when less people have died during the pandemic and they're shipping vaccines there. So I just wanted to address that a little bit. It does make you think because uh, the event that the person was referring to starting in 1998 after the Civil War started, when Congo was invaded in the east by a number of different African countries that they said was some people have said it was the first African war. And those countries invaded. As a matter of fact, I was in the Congo at the time, and we were evacuated out of the Congo because they thought, the worst was going to come. And as a result, uh, we left in August of '98, and the war started, and it formally ended um, in probably the 2003, 2002 time frame. It didn't last that long, but the 5 million, 5.4 or 6 million depends on which article you read and who's providing the estimates. Those are innocent civilians who have died due to the effects of the war, meaning say they were not killed during the war by bullets, but they were starved to death. They ran to the fields and went into the bush, and they died from malaria, hunger, miscarriages, uh, you know, any and everything other than from a actual war. So that's kind of part of the story that why it's not widely accepted published is that it happened out of sight, where the pandemic is happening in sight among people, and it's not only affecting Congo, and as the reader said, Congo is not being really affected much by the pandemic as some of the other countries, where here in the United States, over 500,000 people have died. Throughout other countries in Europe, you have huge numbers. However, when you think of 5.4 million people, that was number one over a span of 10 years, and also it happened out of sight. Nobody at the time probably realized the devastation that was going on until after it had materialized, and probably 4 to 5, maybe 6 years into all that the problems. But that's not to say that it's not wasn't a huge problem, and people most of the people have realized that it was a significant problem and that the international community did not come and do anything. But I would have to say, even when you look at it today, a lot of the things that was going on back then is still going on today. Uh, and I think the international community is more aware of it. They're trying to do something, but it's one of those things is what is the solution for it? You would ask the Congolese government, they would have their own solution. You would have the governments of, let's say, of the Eastern Great Lakes region, they would have their own reasons, own solution. The United States have their own solutions, and you've had the UN have their own solutions to how to correct this problem and how to get it done. So it is not a easy problem to solve. Whereas the COVID pandemic, we have vaccines, it can be provided, it can be done, and it can be wrapped up nicely in a bowl and it's be done. Where the war that was going on with the innocent lives being taken, it is not it's not an easy solution. Another thing is that did not affect people outside of Congo. You know, nobody in the United States, nobody in Europe, nobody else outside of the Congo uh, felt the devastation. So therefore, while it was going on, it was easy for the world to not hear about it, not to do anything and everything. Whereas the pandemic is affecting the world, and so therefore people are really concerned about it because, as people have said, until the pandemic is over, no one is safe. If Congo is not vaccinated, that means it can potentially spread from Congo back to different parts of the world. The same thing as you look at with the Ebola. Uh, if that pandemic spreads, Ebola spreads throughout the world, we could have the same devastating effect with uh, Ebola as we have with the COVID pandemic. So it was one of those situations. It was isolated to one country, and it was easily forgettable, and it was out of sight, and it happened not by mass uh, killings or something like that, but nevertheless, you know, let's say 5 million to 6 million people have died or more, have died from starvation, from sicknesses, preventable sicknesses, and all that kind of stuff. So uh, that's not a that's just the facts. That's not a oh my answer to the person is just stating the facts of why uh, the international community did not come to the aid of the Congolese, but they are now sending uh, COVID vaccines to the Congo. And as you can see, we were talked about earlier, uh, later, that those vaccines are being redistributed to other African countries who are readily using them. So even at this situation, they were given to the Congo, but however, Congo decided not to distribute it. So I hope that kind of clears it up, but probably it's not a sufficient answer because there is no answer. If there would have been an answer on how to correct that problem, I think it would have been done and hopefully could have saved millions of lives. And I hope that something happens where it doesn't continue because it's still going on today. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we will see you tomorrow and have another episode of talking about the Congo. Thank you so much.